for the liberal media. So maybe that's why they can't take it. Joining me right now with reaction, Fox Nation host Tomi Lahren and Women for Trump National Co-Chair Gina Lahren. Good to see you both. Tomi, good to have you in the house.
Good to see you.
What'd you think?
I thought it was a fantastic speech. It's all about what makes America great and what's going to keep America great. And we knew that the Democrats weren't going to like that very much. But even by Democrats' standards, how could you not applaud for that speech? How can you not enjoy that speech? We're talking about low unemployment for every group. We're talking about low unemployment for disabled Americans. We're talking about women in the workforce. We're talking about taking out terrorist leadership. And they sit. And when you brought up the liberal media, the Democrats weren't even standing and clapping for that single black mother and her daughter, talking about opportunity scholarships and school choice. That should be something.
Because school choice was in there, right? And that's the problem.
But can you imagine if this would have been Barack Obama and he would have had a single black mother and her daughter as a guest, and Republicans wouldn't stand and clap for that family? What would they have called us, Trish?
Well, this is the problem, I think, with the tone and tenor of what's going on right now. Gina, I mean, when Nancy Pelosi is fine to just rip up the script, and let me tell you, she'll be applauded by the mainstream media and by the left for doing that. They'll say she was courageous, etc. But that's setting a tone, frankly, that is not healthy and is not exemplary, is it?
Well, when they're constantly professing, Trish, that they're not divisive, and she literally takes what was basically a speech on American exceptionalism and everything that unites us as Americans, from prosperity to environmental policy that the president talked about, to opportunity zones, to advances for minorities and economic prosperity, and she literally divides that speech in half. Americans are watching this, and symbolically, I think it describes exactly who the dividers are. And I think this is the clearest example we've ever seen in the last 72 hours that Americans have a choice between positivity and really truly what is great about America and something that is socialist and negative and dark. I don't think we've ever seen it more clarified than it was tonight.
Yeah, well put. I mean, at the end of that speech, as I said to Charlie, I thought it was incredibly powerful. I thought it was emotional, and I thought it was uplifting, and it was optimistic.
Yes.
You know, and Tomi, like, the optimism, I think, is what's really missing from the Democrats. It's all doom and gloom. And by the way, I lived through 8 years of Obama's doom and gloom. And every time we got a decent job report, you know, he was saying, oh, not quite enough, not quite. He was never willing to applaud the American workers and the American economy. And that's the difference between then and now. And yet they're continuing on with it.
Well, it's about the American comeback. And you don't have to like President Trump. You don't have to support his policies, but you should support the American people. And by the way, don't they say that all these economic advancements were because of Barack Obama anyway? So even if they believe that in their delusional minds, at least clap for that. At least clap for the American people doing well. But when she ripped up that speech, she wasn't just ripping up what was advancements and accomplishments of the American people. She was ripping up people's livelihoods, their hopes, their dreams, and people that have served this nation, died for this nation, families in this nation who might not even be Republican or Trump supporters. She ripped that up. She ripped up war veterans. She ripped up families who have lost. That's what she ripped up.
Do you think it was planned? Gina, do you think that she intended to do this? She's like, okay, it's his State of the Union, but I'm going to steal the spotlight? Or do you think it was a moment, a lack of self-control?
You know, it's interesting, Trish, I was watching her body language during the speech, and my background is in human behavior, and I really did see her sitting there thinking so intently and so deeply. I was wondering if she was plotting something for the end of that speech, so it wouldn't surprise me at all. It's very disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't really look too gracious when he walked out either. Now, did she in the very beginning?
Well, you know, the handshake. Maybe this was supposed to be her revenge for the missed handshake. This is how she was going to get back at President Trump. We know last year she did the hand clapping behind him. It was all meant to disrespect him, but she didn't disrespect Donald Trump. She disrespected the American people, and that's what these Democrats do time and time again. They can't just attack this president. They have to attack his supporters, and they have to attack the American people as a whole, and that is the true difference between the great American comeback and what you have on the left, which is an America that's supposed to be less American.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you can't even stand for the national anthem, right? And that's somehow okay as well. So why not tear up the speech of the president? Why not just continually insult America. That's where they've gotten us. So what do you expect, Gina, in the days to come? How will this poll? I mean, he's at 49% right now, highest approval rating ever, right, of his presidency, and doing better than a lot of recent presidents as they went into the third State of the Union. Does that move higher? Does he gain a couple more points based on her behavior, the Democrats' behavior, and his touting of America's success?
I think so. You know, with Women for Trump, I hear from women all the time who are really appreciating the sort of sincere, compassionate side of this president. If there's one thing we saw tonight, that's what we saw when he talked about children, when he talked about diseases and cures, when he talked about military families. I mean, this is what we saw tonight, that emotional, compassionate, sincere side of this president who's dedicated to all of those things that pull at our heartstrings. Women love that. I think we'll see a surge in women's support, but I think we'll see an increased appreciation for a president who truly wants to unite America, and contrasted by a party that just seems to be disorganized and want to continue to divide and take us down the path to socialism.
Hey, they can't even decide on anyone in Iowa, right? Tomi, Gina, really good to see you guys. Thank you very much.